on stage, so let's make sure that we keep it up, okay?
Okay. The dive looks a lot better for GAM. This.
This dive! And now it's going to be APA that's the target. Levi is so dangerous. That shockwave was absolutely sick.
Calm down, guys. I'm dead. It's okay.
For TL is the question. Gets health bars in so low. Can they keep the phalanx? And Kiaya is now just bonking them all on the head. That is going to be the team fight win, and GAM might just walk through.
And welcome back to Worlds 2024 Swiss stage as it is. Wait, what time is it actually?
It's time to make you guys believe. That's right, representing for all the minor regions around the world. We are here, we're the VCS, and we're here to make some noise and repeat history just like we did last year in Busan and Seoul. Worlds 2023 is coming to you here at Worlds 2024. Team Liquid, you know what time it is, baby. It's GAM time! Let's go! Woo! And of course, can't forget the shades.
How can you not love him? I know you don't love him right now.
Oh,
but how
I
can you
love
not
him.
love
I don't love the fact that we just got our asses beat, but I do love him. The man has aura.
Wow.
What can I say?
Unbelievable aura.
Yeah.
You know, and so does his top laner. We got to talk about Kiaya. We always talk about Kiaya. We always talk about Levi. But this is really why, Azael, and it's what you drew out for us even before this game if it was going to be a GAM win.
Yeah, I mean, Kiaya is our father, it turns out.
Yes.
Game one definitely played really, really well. Him and Levi, I think, combined to do so much work through the bot lane. I was really impressed by what they were able to get done. And I was surprised that TL wasn't really right place, right time to cover any of these moves because they are normally the lane swap kings.
Can I brought back this Hoopu comment. This was actually from Weibo versus Fanatics, game one. Even my mom knows to ban Jax when you are picking two marks.
Yeah, and it was kind of the case here. Kiaya got off to a great lead in the lane swap, being able to then punish up against Impact on this Aurora and get these early leads. And then when you got to that later portion of the game, it didn't really come back to, oh, well, we've got Orianna has some nice ults, but realistically, it was Kiaya standing tall at the end of every single one of these fights, diving in onto the back line, the great shock waves, and I think it was really impressive the way. Well, they just felt at home. It was Levi constantly playing towards Kiaya on those side lanes, making sure that he could get these leads and never giving TL a massive window back into the game.
And I was just so impressed with how much confidence they were playing with, right? Like, it's really nice to see, you know, Levi's going for Q flashes constantly. They're playing towards their win conditions. They're diving deep and going really, really aggressive. And it was just awesome to see them playing at that level.
Yeah, it is impressive, but it is not unprecedented for GAM. I feel like when they do get a lead, they don't stop, and I was afraid that they were going to lose it in the mid game because we even saw it a little bit. But you talked about Levi and his mechanics. Well, he's been showing them off also in this HyperX reflex replay. I believe this is the one down in the bot lane where then, of course, the Orianna ball comes and hangs out as well. But it was beautiful.
It was absolutely sick to see. The setup here was really nice because Levi goes in early. You think he's going to go onto Corejj, but actually turns onto APA. And then the flash, the second you see APA going through with Emo getting that ultimate at just the right time, sets up perfectly then for the double kill. And it's this heads-up play from Levi to actually go, no, we can take the initial chunk of damage onto APA to set up for both of these quick deaths.
I mean, how often do you see a top jungle both out DPS their mid lane and their AD carry? Like, they were getting so much work done in this game. It was ridiculous, the amount of pressure they put on. And with the draft that TL had, you're drafting double AD carry, you're drafting a burst solo AP, which is fine, but it means there's no threat on the Jax once he gets really, really fed. When he got through those early levels for free in the lane swaps, I think TL's lane assignments were really questionable after they got that initial dive. I think that they could have had just Impact laning down bot. Instead, they put Yeon there, had no coverage for him. He gets dove on a triple stacked wave, loses all of that farm, and Yeon has been the standout for TL for me. So, you know, they really put him in a pretty poor position from that, even having APA leaning 1v2 top. So it felt like they were somehow losing out on all lanes. And it really put them into a pretty big hole that GAM just never gave them the chance to dig themselves out of through that aggressive play.
I think that's the big one for me, is that when we saw GAM in the past and a lot of members from the VCS come up to the international stage, it was, hey, we can get these early leads because we're an incredibly aggressive team. We're super bloody, but they'd fall behind in the mid game. So you kind of went, ah, yeah, you can bite and scratch, but you're never going to really take the win. This is where, for me, GAM has been the big difference maker. This is a team that has gone back and worked on their macro. Even when we saw them coming into their finals, it wasn't the very hyper-aggressive early game like Viking Esports. It was, no, we play a macro-oriented game where we take over inside lanes, play through Kiaya, and this is what we're now getting to see up against, I mean, the top seeds at this tournament.
And I asked you before this game, right? Would it still be an upset because they beat LEC seeds? They're, you know, they won a game now versus TL in this, what is only a best of 3, right? You gotta start thinking that this might be equal playing, and maybe then you'll get off to a better start.
I mean, I still think you have to say it's an upset, and I still think, you know, that's not a criticism of the team. I think it's, you know, giving them credit for being able to step up and play such a good performance. Because when you look at what TL has done this year, it wasn't just that they were like a NA team, they were the NA team. You know, they pushed T1 to the brink at MSI. They almost beat them again at EWC when T1 won the tournament. Then they went almost undefeated the entire split in LCS, got to the finals. Yes, they did fall then to FlyQuest, but then you're hearing at Worlds about them scrimming and beating all these top teams and doing so well. So I do think expectation versus reality, like this was supposed to be a very TL favored thing, but they're just not playing as well as they did regionally. They have not really arrived yet to the tournament.
I guess they just never played Vietnam, and that was why we couldn't really see how that match would play out. All jokes aside, though, this is a serious matter because I think for both teams equally, right? You have a GAM team who make them believe as the slogan. They're yelling it at us that it's GAM time because their region is merging next year. This is their chance to show that they can take on the LEC and the LCS, right? Before the side of TL, all this hard work, Azael. Give me a couple of pointers. Give me some hopium that we are at least going to a game 3.
Oh, I mean, I think it's going to come down so much to the draft. I really just don't like impact on carries. This guy gets so much done when he's playing tanks. He plays that supportive style where he sacrifices for his team better than anyone. That's why he won the MVP in the LCS. That's why he looked head and shoulders above all the other top laners. He has not looked comfortable at Worlds. I would like to see him play a supportive role. I would like to just have Yeon be the focus of the team, play around him. He's been the best part of you at Worlds.
No Jax.
No Jax. We've heard it. Maybe for Impact. Who knows? What do you guys think? And do you still believe, Kobe?
It's okay. It's okay.
So much shocks.
It's a best of 3. That was a warm-up.
Game 1's always a warm-up. You heard it here first. Let's see whether TL can turn it around or whether it is indeed GAM time, because it felt like GAM time. I'm not gonna lie, it felt like GAM time in game number 1.
Game number 1 was definitely GAM time. Hopefully we can change the clocks for this game.
Well, now we have changed the lights because they can be turned off by GAM if they do get a Nocturne. That's going to be the ban that is going to be taken away. Segway level probably not the greatest, but Skana and the Ziggs
stop doubting
going
yourself,
to be removed. Maybe
just finish strong. You just stick the landing, and you were good on that.
I'm just too scared of success, Kobe. As the Yeon once again banned on blue side, no surprises. The Jax being banned by GAM, maybe having a look through the skins, and Kiaya was like, whose skin is this again? And it said there was impacts, but we don't necessarily feel like that was a huge thing, but they are going to look to take away the Nocturne themselves.
I think you have to, because I am 99% sure that otherwise GAM just slammed Nocturne Orianna on 1-2.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, like, what are you going to do? We already know how good Levi is as a champion. He'll still be able to get something that he didn't get his hands on last time around, but after last game, I think pivoting away from trying to ban out Levi when he still has a performance like that, when you use that many bans on him, definitely a good call.
I wonder if they would want to get Kiaya, you know, one of his other, well, if they have Orianna already, maybe.
Ori Wukong?
Yeah.
Ori Wukong feels pretty circly. We know that circles are pretty strong. And going down the list of Levi champions would make some sense. But Ashe for EasyLove, I really loved his flash over the wall in game number 1. Ashe has been very, very strong this tournament and gives them another engage option here. As now TL, do they pick away the Braum? Do they allow once again this Ashe Braum to come through for GAM? Whether it's going to be a completely different idea as Neeko a consideration. APA has looked fantastic on this champion in the past, and a lot of deception available with Nocturne Neeko.
Yeah, and if they do lock this, yeah, it is for sure going to be one of these super quick, hard engage comps for Team Liquid. So some things that, like you're mentioning already early, Atlas, like the defensiveness of Braum or something, expecting these all-ins from TL, might be on the table for GAM. Shout out here from APA for the Aurelian Soul.
Yeah, I think Kai'Sa makes so much sense.
If you're going full dive comp, then you want to get your Kai'Sa early, because Kai'Sa will get banned.
Kai'Sa is also one of the champions that, while she works really well in the dive draft, I think also gives an alternative win condition in the... Once you hit enough AP, you can just poke away the Braum. Absolute no-brainer here with how both the previous game played out, and you already know TL was fully committing to dive. I do think that Braum into champions like Neeko specifically can struggle somewhat, because Neeko is often still able to find angles, despite the Braum being there, but the combo with the Ashe is still going to be just as good as it was in last game.
Yep. I think this also sets TL up for a possible impact tank this time around. Yep. There's a lot of damage from Nocturne, Neeko, and Kai'Sa already presented here, so they're not necessarily hard-pressed into having extra damage from the top lane. But the rail going to be banned away. I expect more of these tank supports to be taken off the board here as well.
So ban Wukong plus Vi here to take away from Levi, I would assume.
I think the Silas can get through this time. I think that, taking away some of those options would be a good one.
I'm definitely more worried about Levi.
Oh, Kindred. Another jungler, certainly.
Yeah, that's not a fun matchup. It's telling, though, again, that so many resources have to be invested in making sure that Levi doesn't completely take over the game.
Yeah, and also because, you know, Kindred ultimate kind of would counter the burst all-in dive that TL are showing.
Yep, Neeko doesn't really enjoy that when she wants to just kill everyone with that one Pop Blossom. But the Leona going to be taken away makes a lot of sense here. Corejj, not a whole lot of other engage options, although, you know, Nautilus and Alistair still up. There's the Wukong that we expected to be banned away. And the Gnar for Kiaya. We saw Breathe on this earlier on. We know that this champion can also get completely out of control, but it can also be an orange buff, you know, on the other side of things. And how are TL going to deal with it? That's going to be the question, as it will be locked away now.
Wonder what we're going to see here out of Impact. Interesting that they keep the R5 as well. Most likely, I think it is Vi. Depending on what TL can lock in, you can also go for something like the Jarvan. I know we haven't seen a lot of him, but he is exceptional as a ball delivery system.
Yep.
Jarvan Orianna is, of course, a classic. Also provides some hard engage. I do think that's somewhat lacking with what they have here so far. But again, if you lock in Vi, I think you saw how well that worked last game. Rakan makes a ton of sense. I think Nautilus and Kai'Sa are like the strongest in an isolation. You can't pick Nautilus in the Braum. That's just a completely miserable situation. So it's instead going to be the Rakan. And Rakan, I think, is also better in diving with the Nocturne and the Neeko. As the Renekton, this is a classic.
The B5 Renekton, it's R5 Renekton that we personally dislike the most, as that's Kha'Zix. That's, well, I mean, it's not anymore. We'll see what Levi does decide to lock in.
Let's not get...
Yeah, the hovers are certainly very exciting.
They are exciting, but they're not real.
You know, I'm still apprehensive of saying the word exciting.
It's okay, they're not here.
I know they're not here, but they're still here, you know, in my brain.
I gotta
say, that is going to be the buy locked in the end.
I gotta say, I'm more nervous after draft than I was heading into game number 2 already.
I was really thinking that we might have gotten on.
I don't know about this one. We'll see. I mean, GAM, with the way that they played in game number 1 and being able to get such strong early game leads, this team comp is just so sturdy if they get ahead. Like, their team fight is insanely good. TL, they do have speed on their side. They are a bit more flimsy in that if you just lock down the Rakan, oftentimes you can blow them up. Or a Nocturne early game, but TL's comp really relies on pinpoint execution here with the engage.
It's
with
a finesse
their Nocturne,
comp, right?
Their Nocturne, Neeko, and Rakan play has to be on point. And so far, it has really just been TL's bottom lane, and the rest of the team has been a little bit iffy.
We saw even in that last game, I think TL right now, individually, are just not playing that well. A lot of mistakes being made, and with this comp, mechanically, I don't think it's necessarily that hard, but the coordination needs to be perfect. The timing, exactly. Everyone needs to be on the same page, because otherwise this comp falls apart very quickly. There isn't a traditional front line, someone that can just soak up a lot of it. You need to be on point. If you pull the trigger well, I think this works wonders. I don't know if TL can do that with the pressure that's on them going into this possible final game for them at Worlds.
And Impact is channeling his ex-SKT T1 alumni Marin with his skin from Worlds. So that's fun. He does have his own one, but he's not playing Jax today. See whether he can channel some of that moving into this game.
Let's see if this is yet another chapter in the history of GAM upsetting major regions at international events. They have done it ever since they appeared on the international stage.
And I'm thinking that at that point, maybe we are just going to side with Shox. Maybe it's just not an upset anymore because GAM have seemed a little bit too synonymous with being able to take down so many of these teams. This year, though, you know, they did lose. These are best of ones, but they lost to Fly as. Oh, that's a face check.
That's
and
two.
That's a cast curse if ever I've done one. Levi going to be taken out for first blood. It's Yeon that picks up the kill. EasyLove now going the wrong direction. The Ashe is very, very dead, ladies and gentlemen. And you're welcome, TL. Sometimes you have to sing some praises to get some kills.
And they have put in so much prep for people invading for lane swap wards. GAM putting down the lane swap wards, but TL, they pull the trap shut as they try and exit. What a huge start to a game that is a necessary win for them.
This is absolutely massive. 1,000 gold from just that alone as we check it out one more time. TL, that ward.
Those are the wards I mentioned when they're coming in looking for lane swaps, because GAM lane swap last game as well. TL, they prep the trap.
And this is exactly what they did in game number 1. And that's what's so incredibly smart about it. TL doing their homework from what happened in the game prior and say, you're not going to be able to do that again.
It also, I think, plays a big part that if you are GAM, in what world would TL look for a level 1 fight when you have Ashe and Braum? Right? Like, these champions, I think, are insanely strong level 1. The slows, the damage that's available, the Braum passive that's easily stacked on multiple members. Instead, TL getting what feels like, I think, at the very least, some calming of the nerves.
Yeah.
As I feel like
Speaking of emotions, well, I was going to say on the coach cam, you see a stark difference between Spawn, the head coach, and the analyst that is standing behind him with the full-on yelling, fist pumping going. Straight face for Spawn, though, they're always measured. And TL's bottom lane, I feel like, has been the point that has been most reliable so far at this tournament. Now that they actually got some early kills for the side of Team Liquid mid and jungle, maybe we will see APA and UmTi here really making use of that money because, again, the Neeko and the Nocturne were some of the early picks of this comp that really determine the entire direction, and that direction is forward in flanks. Atlas, you turn off the lights, and there you go.
Why would he do that?
He said he wanted to at the very beginning of the game.
Because then I can't see the mustache. It really.
You don't have to bring it back. It's your face.
I thought that was where Kobe wanted me to go. I felt like it was a perfect setup. It was
I feel like
beautifully
I
done.
walked into that one. That one's on me.
I did want to say, though, that I got a little bit distracted. I actually thought that it was, because APA transformed into Yeon. He managed to pick up the kill when he was in that transformed state. As now Levi trying to come in, but not able to take away the crab. And so we are going to have both teams backing away. But what I was going to say is that I think there is so much on UmTi's shoulders, especially in this game, because in clutch moments, UmTi has struggled throughout his entire career. Like, push comes to shove, and he's unable to do either. And if he's able to get things together, have a carry performance against Levi on this Nocturne, could be huge going into Game 3.
I saw Impact solo killed by a Gnar early on in this tournament.
So,
hoping it doesn't happen again.
There.
Well, he's going back in, looking for a little bit more. The Hyperprocs are really dangerous. UmTi's moving on over. There's the flash forward. Can the fear come out? He gets into the brush, and that is the kill! So, Impact not solo killed this time.
I have never clenched harder than after I said that.
He managed to click the ward, but couldn't then immediately click the champion before the fear went off.
I really thought it was that. I think that would have still been fine, because what I was going to lead into is the fact that, as you pointed out, Atlas, Nocturne is, I think, the most important part of this composition.
Yeah.
UmTi has, at that point, had 1 kill, double crab. So 1 kill, double crabby, and now has 2 kills, 3 stacks on Ultimate Hunter already. So this Nocturne is like, it doesn't really get better in terms of setup to go into a mid-game and get these high impact plays with Nocturne.
And critically, getting the Gnar flash and teleport down here, Impact now with the wave pushing towards him is in a much better state. So, calculated down to the very last auto attack there.
Tanglebob's landing, and Emo taking a whole lot of damage here with this caster matchup. I feel like APA is in a lot more comfort of a position here on the Neeko as well. I just feel like his Neeko
100%.
just feels amazing.
So, everyone's going to look at the flashes that he messed up in the earlier games of the tournament on Neeko, but this is one of his most played champions that he has a lot of confidence on. He was always a really big playmaker, invested a bunch of time into it. So
it's a flash.
APA is in a scary position right now. Shave Splitter, of course, can really help.
You think Levi? Oh, no, not waiting.
Oh, he's going to walk out of it. The Pop Blossom goes absolutely nowhere as Levi gets in, but the Flash gets APA out of there. Emo, Elio trying to get on through as there's the dissonance. Oh, again! No, Clockwork was wound up, and now the grand entrance comes in. Emo gonna burn down. Corejj locks up the kill, and APA's back. He finds another one. UmTi, this ultimate hunter is almost fully stacked before he even has the ability.
The counter from Team Liquid is good. Even though the shockwave from Emo made them pause, the follow-through was way too much there.
Oh, yet another cleanly calculated play. Not even close. And I want to highlight, I think GAM getting a little bit overexcited here. Because yes, Emo is 6, but if you wait for Levi to have 6, this play always works. Right? There is no way it doesn't. The shockwave is beautiful. It completely dodges the knock-up from APA, but I think Levi actually still got stunned, so he uses his Q, uses his flash. So at that point, he is fully committed to just trying to make the play work. His free grabs come through, and UmTi is 3-0-2, 1.3k gold up. He's gonna get some free Raptors, and now his ultimate is available.
And he is going the Stride Breaker build. I love this build so much more.
It's a bit confusing here, as UmTi is going to be able to take the big Raptor. Levi, you cannot fight this. You can't. He's 3-0-2. You cannot fight this at all. Emo comes on over, gives him a shield, and says, "Please leave." And UmTi is going to then move on over towards this Brambleback. APA being a melee minion was odd in the mid lane, but now we've got Impact trying to get Kiaya out of here, feeling a whole lot better in this instance, but now with the Hyperbrox coming in, Kiaya just going to be backing away, not going to commit any further. A better time for Impact.
It's a bit rough.
Yeah. Your focus on UmTi is really correct, though, and especially with this build. I love this build so much more because you can get your early Tiamat, and you can just speed clear through the rest of the jungle. You already saw there, with the extra lead that he has, well...
Arrow going to connect. Shape Splitter is going to work out, but that was the clone, and he can hit both of them anyway. Emo going to finish that one up. The arrow from EasyLove looked too good.
Oh! He uses TL's own emote!
Oh, man.
That's good BM.
That is some solid BM. And all of TL have been emoting like crazy, so I think it's completely warranted.
That's what, like, that's the second kill that, I know that it was Emo, but like, that's the second kill EasyLove has gotten on APA.
Yeah, with Ashe Arrow. The last one was a snipe.
Yeah.
And on the Tristana in Tribush recalling.
Yes, UmTi is big, but do not be mistaken. We saw how good
there's
GAM's
some
fighting
darkness
was.
here as there is a Mega Gnar on the horizon, but I think he's dead before it even happens. Cull the Meek comes through exactly like it says.
Oh.
And Impact's able to take that one down.
No Horizon, Atlas.
No.
Not happening.
Oh, it was on the horizon. Yeah, we just never got to the horizon. Or something like that.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Trip cut short.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you thought about how crazy ugly your mustache is?
Got him! Okay, this is getting personal.
I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about that one. But now we've got a bit of a fight towards the bottom side, perhaps, as EasyLove looking to try and stack this one up. Killer Instinct does come on through as, Yeon trying to get a little bit more down, but doesn't get that last auto attack. So still able to stand their ground, but investing the ultimate is dangerous.
Also, that's just not true. It's beautiful.
Kobe, you were actually like, also Kobe, I know you're stressed, but try not to take it out on your coworkers.
Exactly.
Chronicles feelings.
No, I'm fine. UmTi's here, waiting for Levi. Stride Breaker done.
That's when you're supposed to say, Atlas, you're not allowed to talk. Wait. There's a flash forward. Hits Corejj with the ultimate, but doesn't land on Yeon. Somehow that arrow doesn't hit. And now UmTi's making his way in. Remember, this guy has every kill in the universe, but they're not going to push too far. Not going to try and find more than they can chew.
There were no sums. I think he could have gone for it, but I think they want to make sure that they get the dragon instead.
I think UmTi's also very aware of the fact that he has a gigantic bounty on his head, and if he dies, the game could be a big problem.
And they don't have to push anything extra there because they have a guaranteed dragon. So I completely agree with both of you there. They're making the call. Probably a lot of, the talk heading into this game is, all right, let's be calm in our play. Once you get your lead, just play this one out because we can't give up anymore. If you lose this, then you are out of the tournament. So they don't want to over chase, take the guaranteed dragon, no Ashe Arrow, no Braum ultimate. They push the wave in, they just take their resources.
And with this, even though the gold leads on the other end of the map aren't that big a deal, GAM's most vital members have effectively been, at least for now, taken out of the game, right? Both are facing very substantial losses, and for GAM, it's going to have to be a really heavy lifting duty or a job from the rest of the team. Emo, EasyLove got to step. I know EasyLove has been trying with his Ashe arrows. That alone, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Quite going to work. Hawkshot getting a lot of value here, spotting Corejj and UmTi making their way towards these Void Grubs. 6 didn't mean a whole lot for TL in game number 1, but this could be a very different story with the snowball they have already rolling.
Yeah, 100% agreed there because of the Nocturne also later for split pushing.
Oh, yeah.
They have a lot of potential to pressure those side lanes. You've got a lead on your Renekton, a much better state.
It's also, so imagine being GAM and trying to push a side lane late game where you have to check every wave for the right amount of minions. There's a Nocturne and there's a Kai'Sa that can play off of basically everyone else.
Well, immediate teleport to come through here as Elio trying to get himself out. The Ruthless Predator holding him in place for a little while. It is teleport invested, so it is a fair bit there from TL, but they also pick up the grubs on the other side. They can also crash a wave into the top lane outer turret. You can see Kiaya already very far back. Pop Blossom also, as EasyLove is just going to explode. APA grabbing his second, and now Kiaya could be in trouble. UmTi is more than a top laner at this point in time. He is still going to back away that inner turret.
And Team Liquid, they can even rotate over to catch mid lane too. So TL winning both sides of the map here. You push in bottom with APA, you push in top with Yeon. Huge tower gold there for Team Liquid. Impact and Corejj rotate over to make sure no turret plates go down to Emo, and they can't keep pushing. So Team Liquid win the entire map in that sequence.
We have UmTi just pushing a full wave into the turret.
Yeah.
He's just
Well, Corejj is going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Battle Dance gets him out, and he's fine. Just fine.
Nice.
Wait,
little,
never mind. I got pranked by the mini-map. I got Neeko. That's what I'm talking about. This is confusing to play against.
And it's also, the minimap does become a very dangerous thing to look at. And also, if you look at
I know!
Yeah, the kill feed as well is a bit of a problem because it comes up with different champions getting kills. It's a very confusing thing, but we will try and stay on the board as best we can, and if we make mistakes, please laugh at us.
We have already been very on topic, very focused.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot of things that are dangerous to look at in this series and the previous series. Now, let's focus up. Impact here. Going to get visual confirmation of Levi on the Raptors, but your job has really been set up for you already. You can see there's a trailing split push in the bottom of the map right now. UmTi with Nocturne ult available, hovering behind as they push APA to finish off this tower, just in case there was any sort of GAM attempt to use that tower gold as bait and pull a trap of their own, but there is no attempt from GAM because they recognize they're just so far, outmatched in the gold at this time that they don't want to force that fight. I think it's correct.
This is 6.2k gold lead, like every 13 minutes. This is absolutely insane. Game should be completely unplayable from here on out for GAM. As much as I think they did an incredible job in the last game,
it would be,
unless multiple people on TL just all stack up into like a multi Emo Shockwave and Gnar combo, realistically, if any of their top literally any of their characters that isn't Corejj stays alive, they have enough gold there right now to clean up the fight.
And barring a catastrophe, I do like the fact that this is on track to being a shellacking, which is a game that was coined by Spawn himself. We get to ask him whether it's actually a real shellacking or not. Normally it's just a pre-25-minute win. There's not a whole lot to it, but sometimes there's nuance, and we will be able to
We've already talked about a lot of rating systems, so I feel like we need to get into the depths of this one as well.
No zigs in this game. We can't go through that one. Let's have a look at our MasterCard lane economy snapshot, and the snapshot is TL are winning by a lot in all of them. That's my breakdown.
That is valid.
Yeah.
Not a lot of nuance on that snapshot.
We're lacking a lot of nuance in this one.
I can only imagine if you're GAM as well, that you're going to be obviously still looking for opportunities, but also going to be thinking about what we're going to do next game. Because this game really felt like with the way that the level 1 went, from that point on, the game is so hard as there is.
Yeah, arrow going to connect, and it is going to connect.
And it's very easy for Team Liquid to progress their snowball in this game because of the fact that they got the early grubs. So
UmTi just, I was about to say, he just kills him.
Yeah,
right?
he's just gonna kill him. Has a spell shield that's gonna be used on the Shockwave gorgeously, and I could have been really hyped for that, but there was just no way. Yeah, he's just dead.
Yeah. You know the Shockwave is coming. It has a good animation, so correctly reacts to it and is able to spell shield it. UmTi here, the general, marching through the enemy jungle now, actually pushes the bottom wave, starts to rotate over as Impact.
It does manage to get the stun onto Levi, and there's the killer instinct to go in. Okay, Yeon might have gone a little bit too far, but the quickness comes on through, and the wallets are big and heavy. That is going to be a pop blossom. APA comes forward, and that's going to be on putting the last little cherry on top. And maybe there's another cherry, as EasyLove's going to have to flash away. Impact wants to try and catch up to him, but the volley will slow down the Crocodile, and EasyLove will limp his way back towards his base.
And now is your line, Chronicler, because this time UmTi was pushing in the side lane all the way up to secondary.
I actually, you know what?
You're prophetic.
No, I saw him, and I'm like, I'm not believing that. I'm not making the call again.
It's a mirage.
As we take a look, this is really, as you'd expect, STL, when you're this fed, any fight basically is a good fight, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't start out that well. A lot of damage goes into Yeon. He doesn't really get to do as much as ideally he'd like, but it just doesn't matter. GAM is very deep into enemy territory.
And to your point, he is ulting, you know, point blank his face right into 2 melees, but that he knows, especially with the shield, they won't have enough damage to finish him off since his entire team is there.
Yeah.
And they have the item advantage, so full sends it, gets the extra reward for TL to continue to push forward.
And I feel like a lot of people talk about these damage Dragon Souls as being some of the best for snowballing a game. I think the Mountain Soul is really underrated in that department because you can just go all in on damage in your itemization and everyone's basically a tank at the same time.
I love those types, especially when you have a Kai'Sa that wants to ult face first into people.
And get a massive shield, and I hear that resistances are pretty good when you get a massive shield.
I love casting with you guys straight off the plane.
Because we talk about massive shields.
Extra fun. TL here.
I'm always like that. I don't know what you're talking about, Kobe.
TL, though, also take a look at just the complete vision coverage. With both sides of the jungle warded up, they're going to continue to threaten these plays where they can easily rotate from their mid lane and from your jungle over to pick people off on the side of GAM. And that's kind of the point where you guys are talking about how hard it is for GAM to even set up their comeback play, is because the entire area is just lit up for TL and they have all of these tools to pick you off.
Especially, I think, when you hit level 2 on the Killer Instinct, like the range becomes so big. Level 1, you still have to be very close, but
you've just got 2 Nocturnes, basically.
You do, yeah, and both of them will kill you very quickly and not give you a whole lot of counterplay. And for TL now, again, I wonder, because barring something absolutely insane happening, TL's going to win this game. I'm going to go to 1-1.
All right, stop trying to curse.
Okay, tell me I'm wrong.
No way.
Well, there's a Pop Blossom, gets a flash, and there's a Paranoia, so I don't think that Emo's going to be getting out of this one. That is going to be the Tangle Barbs landing there as well. As meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, Kiaya trying to get that wallop down. It's going to work out, but Impact is so tanky. The Gnar into the wall is fantastic. But Yeon, they're just one after the other, dive bombing these members of GAM. And Kiaya gets under his inner turret, but he is still limping away without a jungler.
So as I was saying, what does it mean for the series? Because at the same time, like, this game felt like it was over, not necessarily level 1, but I think once the early skirmish came through, where they got the gank onto top side.
Ooh, grand entrance.
How is Game 3 going to look?
As that's Kiaya probably dead. He's burning down. Corejj going to collect it with the Ignite, and now the base is broken open. Impact looking to put another dent into it in that mid lane as well. But TL, a lot of money available. They're going to go back and spend it before these inhibitors are going to be tested. It is... yeah, that's a 12,000 gold lead pre-20 minutes.
I mean, that's why I'm kind of, you know, going off Chronicler's early point about what does next game look like?
Well, and I actually think it's really, like, it's kind of better for GAM, and I know it seems weird, right? But if you're just completely knocked out of a game, you get this entire game to think about Game 3.
And it's also, I feel like for GAM, they're already the underdog. They had a really good Game 1, I think, in multiple facets. Yeah. And a game like this, I think, it's the same where if you lose level 1, it's much easier to ride off than if it's a hard-fought, like 40-minute slugfest. And as the underdog, I think GAM, going into next game, still should be very confident, even with this game obviously being
a write-off.
So your perspective is, this game is such a big beatdown that it's like ripping off a Band-Aid quickly?
Yeah, no, straight up. That's exactly
You're
what
like, oh, we already lost that a while ago.
Like, actually, no, but don't you think the players are in here like 15 minutes in? They're like
already thinking about draft for the next game, already thinking about specifically the level 1 setup. and checking their corners, basically, if you are going to invade looking for lane swaps. As you said, you know, TL have really focused on that aspect of the game.
And it's side selection as well, you know, they can move over to the blue side, then there's going to be a complete change up when it comes to these bans, and TL have utilized blue very well because they need to ban things like Aurora on blue and the Yeon on blue, as Corejj might be caught out here, but is able to just move back towards a plethora of vision and teammates that are moving in.
So if we take this line of thought further, and you're looking at it from TL's side, would you then want to just make them wait and live in this deficit for even longer?
No, I think you want to just finish it as soon as you can.
Okay. Yeah. Because it doesn't teach you anything, right? You don't get anything out of it. APA, that's good. Spotted.
Vision, yeah, spotted out. That is very cute. He's just a void mine. I love that.
Just hopping.
He's hopping around.
They do know.
He's hopping. That one is okay. Looking for an option here, as there's the Pop Blossom, hits onto 3. He's completely by himself. He's going to be guaranteeing a Baron for his teammates. And there he goes. But, you know, that is still the Vi being taken down. The arrow is going to sail on in, and oh my goodness. Thankfully, Levi was one of the ones that did fall earlier on, so that one wasn't going to be a thing. As now Impact gets into that backline, it's his crocodile. As Kiaya pushes him into the wall there. Corejj not offering back a lot of damage, and TL throwing a couple of solo laners away, but now Yeon gets in. My God! The plasma is raining down, and EasyLove is just really dead. Emo, the last one left alive. It wasn't clean, but it worked.
TL really testing the limits of what they get away with this gold lead, but it ends up working out nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they can, right? All APA is doing there, he locks up the entire team on him, so there's going to be nobody else. I mean, I know Levi just sent it into the Baron, try and steal it away. Let's look at the Levi side of it, because we all saw the APA side of it front and center, and he kind of walks up to go for the big ultimate, but Levi tried to get in the pit way ahead of time, because they did not have vision for the health, so had no idea, just was just trying to get the miracle play, right? So they're really just looking for the miracle attempts there on the side of GAM.
I don't know, you don't know how you win this game, but it does start with stealing that Baron blind.
Exactly.
So makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Wasn't, of course, quite able to, because Hawkshot on cooldown, things like this means that you just can't get in there. TL going to look for Soul Point. They will be able to pick that one up. Now with the Baron, should be just about playing side lane homework, pushing them in, trying to break open this base. Already, the inhibitor turret in the mid lane is taken out. Still pretty early in this one, so getting all these waves in order is a little bit more difficult, but it's very, very heavy. So 14,000 gold, the approximate gold lead. Not used to talking about a lead like that when we have like downtime. Normally it's like 15,000 gold, and that gold is sort of raining down on the opposition, and then the Nexus explodes. But this is, we're just setting up for some lanes, and TL have the entire bank.
Yeah. The gold lead here, massive, of course, at this early stage in the game, but so is the Baron buff pushing, so you kind of see like the decision there from TL. They're like, you know what, APA, that is a cool looking ult, but we're not going to follow with Kai'Sa ult and Nocturne ult. We're just going to finish the Baron so that we can finish this game. And they use that Baron, push in. They've got enough money, and another one.
There's a 4-man Pop Blossom. Everyone is just put into the blender. TL, they do want to get out of this game, move to that game number 3, and they do it decisively off the back of APA. The Nexus turrets are now just going to fall like an afterthought. And with one of the largest gold leads I've ever seen, they will complete the shellacking at 24 minutes and 20 seconds into the game.
We are going to 6 out of 6.
Oh, you love to see it.
For the final team to get to that 2-2 score, to see who gets another chance to make it to those quarterfinals.
Exactly, and one more team is going to be leaving us, of course. So it is time to go to a break. We'll see whether it's TL that can carry the momentum or whether it's going to be GAM able to fight back in Game 3.
In the dojo. You want to head high.